Online coaching doesn't work. Yeah, we just prefer an in-person coach to hold my kids' hands while they're trained. Even though we've never tried online coaching, we're still going to throw shade and rude comments about it. So, guys, in today's video, if you're a player or a parent, we're going to be discovering the difference between online coaching versus traditional face-to-face coaching for players' footballing development, whether you're a player, whether you're the parent of a player. We're going to be discovering which one is a more superior method when it comes to a child's footballing development. That being said, let's get right into it. So let me actually move myself a bit up here. Okay, there we go. So as a player or a parent, you need to understand that traditional face-to-face coaching is way outdated and it's dying slowly but surely. And trust me when I say this, because I used to be an in-person coach as well. Before I transitioned into online coaching 200 players around the world full time, I was once an in-person coach as well. I got my strength and conditioning degree as well as my working with children track over 2 years ago. So I began in-person coaching around that time. I was doing plenty of one-on-one sessions, plenty of small group sessions, and even, let me just move this down here, and even full group sessions with like 10, 12 people per session. I had about 50 total players in person in Sydney, Australia, where I used to live. And, I've come to the conclusion that after some time, parents actually end up paying ridiculous amounts for such little value in return from the coach or the whole experience, to put it simply. Sure, there are players improving, don't get me wrong. This is what we're here to do. We're a coach. We want to make sure our players are improving, and they are improving, don't get me wrong. But the rate of improvements just does not correlate to the price tag that we are presenting to the parents as coaches ourselves. If you are a parent who's hired a coach for your son or your daughter, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. You'd pay 30, 40, even $50 an hour a couple of times a week just to get some field sessions for your son or daughter. For me, when I was coaching in Sydney, I was charging about $50 an hour per player. And in this photo, you can see. But again, field technical training is just 20% of football improvements. Matter of fact, it could be even less. I'm just overestimating here. Field training sessions with a coach, that's about 10% of football development. And you might think that this amount or, these amounts here is not that much money. But over time, it compounds. Even though you're paying just for 20% of your kids' improvements, that's $50 an hour, whatever it might be. Let's assume that you're having 2 sessions a week. Let's be absolutely generous. You're training twice a week with an in-person coach, and for a whole month at $40 an hour. Okay, let's just be absolutely generous. You work with them for 4 months, a half of the season, assuming the season is about eight months total, which was in Australia. So assuming that you work with a coach twice a week for every single month for half of the season, which is 4 months, that's about $320 times 4, which is about 1.3 thousand American dollars for half of season training with a face-to-face coach, working on just the technical aspect twice a week. So you get about 30 field session out with that coach in 120 days. Like one more time, we'll list the math together. You have $40 an hour, let's be generous, 2 sessions a week, 8 sessions a month, $320 a month, just on technical training sessions. What about the remaining 80% of the game? Like the main thing that players actually struggle with, again, linking back to everything else. It's not just about this, guys. We have to be working on athletic mentality, the tactics, the nutrition, the lifestyle, and everything else. It's not just as simple as going out and working with a coach, hoping that your child becomes better at football, because a lot of players are already decent when it comes to technical. What they lack is everything outside of the technical ability, everything like the confidence, their mindset, their tactical understanding, their physical capabilities, growing taller, more physical, more strength. Like this is what the players lack, yet we spend so much time and attention towards other areas as parents. And as a parent or player, if you think that online coaching doesn't work, exit this video now, respectfully. Your child doesn't need a physical coach anymore. They're not a kid anymore. They're grown footballers. This player here, he's 14 years old. I consider him a grown footballer, okay? They're not kids anymore. They're grown footballers. They don't need anybody to hold their hands physically as they train, okay? Footballers just need systems in place. You just need to know exactly what to do every single day. This is how I personally went from a shy, skinny bench warmer who would disappoint my parents with my poor school grades at 14 years of age, as you can see here, to 2 years later, making my semi-professional men's debut at the age of only 16. Just in comparison, look at my body and physicality with this grown person. I was playing at a second division of Australian men's football at the age of 16. Going from that version of myself at 16 to now signing 2 years later to a professional club here in the most competitive football region in the entire world, Madrid, Spain, playing for AD Alcorcon. And as you can see, this was the timeline from 14 to 16 to 18, a very realistic transition to professional football. And this is the exact same club that once beat Real Madrid, full of legends. Benzema was playing, Raul was playing, and they beat this club 4-0. So that's the current club I play for. And that being said, like I was only able to do this massive transformation because I had systems in place. I didn't have a coach to hold my hand. That was for a little part of my career in the beginning when I was 14. But 16 onwards, I didn't have a coach to hold my hand. I just had systems in place that focused across all four pillars of the game through multiple mentors online and through different coaches that I work with through my clubs I've been to, gym sessions I've been to, all of these things. I started investing into my football career at the age of 16 when I had enough money saved up from the two jobs I was working at the time, which was refereeing as well as a dishwasher. Okay, I was working two jobs simultaneously whilst going to school, studying for the most important exams of my life, whilst playing football 5 times a week for semi-professionally for this club. Okay, so I had about $900 to $1,000 saved up at the time, and I spent 800 of it straight to my first mentor, who had helped me drastically, or I still work with to this day, my footballing career. Pretty much all I had at the time. And since that day, I've spent another $40,000 into my football journey. So throughout the whole procedure of being coached online and in person, and being an in-person coach and an online coach myself, having experienced all four worlds of coaching and development as a footballer, I realized that online football mentorship is the new wave. Not just football mentorship, but online coaching is a new wave. Just like anything else in life, like there is a new innovation, a new method, new trend, and the people who get it early and take advantage of it are the ones who succeed in the long term. The ones who are slow to adapt or don't adapt at all get left behind and hope for the next big opportunity. For example, we can take the introduction of ChatGPT as example. At first, a lot of closed-minded people were thinking like, oh, what is this nonsense? A robot? Really? How is that going to take our jobs? But now we see people who once, didn't see the value of the AI crumble. The people who had seen the value of AI back then, the people who started integrating AI into their daily lives and the businesses are the ones who are now taking the jobs of the people who once skipped this opportunity of AI because they were closed-minded. So in fact, like modern education, like the university that I currently go to, the University of Sydney, are taking advantage of innovations and using AI. Like I studied at the top 20 ranked university in the entire world. And as of 2024 rankings, you can look it up. And you'd think it's like some sort of prestige university like Sydney University wouldn't use AI and like wouldn't use advantageous ways to make it easier for their students to learn. And I was completely wrong. Like even the best universities use AI and these new innovations to get ahead of people, right? So that being said, let me scroll up all the way here, all the way here. I'll give you guys a very brief summary of online coaching and the way it works. So you get everything personally designed for you about football, life, education, to unlock your full potential by working with an expert, aka myself, every single day. You don't pay by the hour, you don't pay me by the session, you pay for the outcome. Okay, you pay for the outcome. The thing you get in return by working with me as your mentor, by having me help your child go from X level to Y level, from taking low confidence to high confidence, from taking from EVP level to MLS next level, from taking your daughter from struggling with confidence, not being good on the ball, to making her the best technically driven player. All these things, you pay for the outcome. You don't pay for an hour or per person or, all these things. My players are working with me every single day using the session I designed specifically for them, not just around field sessions like most of these in-person coaches like myself would used to do back when I was coaching, because that only covers the technical aspect of the game. Like we mentioned before, we work around all four pillars of the game: the tactical, the mindset, the physical, and the technical. So the four pillars of the game, plus a lifestyle habits and academics training to ensure the player is balancing school and football at a very high level simultaneously, like I have personally done so myself. Just to give you some context, I got a top 1% mark in my whole country, Australia, for my last year of high school exams, and was also a top 1% footballer in the whole country, having made my obviously semi-professional debut at the age of only 16, playing against grown men in their 20s and 30s. This is actually, for those who don't know, this is the New South Wales ATAR. It's a ranking out of 99, and I got a top 1% mark, which was 93, got me in the best university, got me an award at my school in front of hundreds of people. So you can almost call me like a life coach. I'm just kidding, but I'm not even trying to be sarcastic, because being a professional like myself covers so many things outside of football that you guys as parents or players probably would never fathom. Like it covers your character, your intelligence, your organization levels, your morals, etc. And So I ensure my players are covered amongst all of these aspects so they don't just become, exceptional footballers. They become exceptional human beings who stand out amongst many realms of life. To and I do this to give you the highest chance, or your son or your daughter, the highest chance of making football. And even for some personal reason, that doesn't work out. You would have built all the knowledge, the discipline, and the versatility to transition into careers outside of football and stand out in those. Okay. So this is why, since I transitioned into Elite Football Accelerator, aka the largest one-on-one football mentorship in the world, I had 200 plus parents and players working with me inside my own mentorship program. I try my best to fit all 70 testimonials that I currently have on my website, but it would only allow me to upload like 30 of them. So if you want to check out what other players and parents have to say about working with me and the whole experience overall as an online coach, then you can just visit alifootball.com. I'll actually show you here if you click this link. This website, you can watch this video, it's super motivational. Would recommend some of the things you obviously get. But scroll all the way down, you'll see all the parents. We have 10 parents there, we have another 20 players here. So you can check them all out in your own time. That being said, like, I understand why parents are skeptical. It's because they're not working with me. They haven't experienced anything that I talk about for themselves, nor in their child. Like, I'll put it this way. It's like Bitcoin in 2016. Nobody knew what it was initially. It was brand new. It felt too good to be true, right? So nobody took action on it, apart from a few people who were interested, who said, why not? Let's try this. So those people are now millionaires, right? So I get the perspective of these parents because you've never experienced what it's like to work with me, nor what it's like to work with another online coach. So you wouldn't really understand. That's why we have different generations in life, Gen Z, Gen X, millennials. There are a few things that we cannot comprehend, myself as a Gen X, who cannot comprehend the ideas of other generations like millennials because it seems so different from our norm. But, Marcus Aurelius said the norm of some people is the form of another person. So I'd be lying to you guys personally. If you're a parent or a player watching this, I would be lying to you if I said that every parent wasn't at least a little bit skeptical or concerned before they started working with me. But the moment these guys, the parents, the players, took leap and saw everything that I was talking about in their child's improvements and their development in life and football, it all started to make sense. And you can even listen to some of the testimonials on the website I showed you before just to confirm this theory. But the only thing I don't understand as a coach is when parents or players judge online coaching when they've never been coached by an online coach before. And for some deluded reason, they're so evident that online coaching doesn't work despite never trying it before. They're so confident that face-to-face coaching is superior, and to the point that never try something new. It's like judging a book by its cover. You determine the taste of a food, just by its looks or by its smell. You've never actually tried it, so how would you know? But if you actually look at other open-minded people, if you're going to be willing to be open-minded and keen to try out for yourself about the impact of online coaching and what it can seriously do for your child's confidence and their overall abilities as a footballer, as a person, as their whole character, and join the other 200 plus players we have inside EFA that I've helped around the world one-on-one, you might want to send me a message on Instagram saying you watched this video, and I'll see if I can help you guys out. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to end this video by saying online coaching is superior to face-to-face traditional coaching, and it will continue to rise. So get in early or miss out completely. But one more time, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hope you guys found plenty of value in this video.